Dear listeners, this is Hansen. You're listening to the Dhamma of meditation practice. If you want to wait around to meet the future Buddha, then just don't practice. You'll probably be around long enough to see him when he comes. I've heard people say, "Oh, this year was a bad year for me. How come? I was sick all year. I couldn't practice at all." Oh, if they don't practice when death is near, when will they ever practice? If they're feeling well, do you think they practice? No, they only get lost in happiness. If they are suffering, they still don't practice. They get lost in that too. I don't know when people think they are going to practice. I've already laid down the schedule and rules of the monastery. Don't transgress the existing standards. Anyone who does is not one who has come with a real intention to practice. What can such a person ever hope to see? Even if he slept near me every day, he wouldn't even see me. Even if he slept near the Buddha, he wouldn't see the Buddha if he didn't practice. Don't think that only sitting with the eyes closed is practice. If you do think this way, then quickly change your thinking. Steady practice is keeping mindful in every posture, whether sitting, walking, standing, or lying down. When coming out of sitting, don't think that you're coming out of meditation, but that if you are only changing postures. If you reflect in this way, you will have peace. Wherever you are, you will have this attitude of practice with you constantly. You will have a steady awareness within yourself. As long as I have still not attained supreme enlightenment, I will not rise from this place, even if my blood dries up. Reading this in the books, you may think of trying it yourself. You'll do it like the Buddha, but you haven't considered that your car is only a small one. The Buddha's car was a really big one. He could do it all at once. With only your tiny little car, how can you possibly take it all at once? It's a different story altogether. I went all over looking for places to meditate. I didn't realize it was already there in my heart. All the meditation is right there inside you. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are right there within you. I traveled all over until I was ready to drop dead from exhaustion. Only then, when I stopped, did I find what I was looking for inside me. We don't meditate to see heaven, but to end suffering. Don't be attached to visions or likes in meditation. Don't rise or fall with them. What's so great about brightness? My flashlight has it. It can't help us rid ourselves of our suffering. You're blind and deaf without meditation. Dhamma isn't easily seen. You must meditate to see what you have never seen. Were you born a teacher? No. You must study first. A lemon is only sour when you have tasted it. When sitting in meditation, say, "That's not my business." with every thought that comes by. When we are lazy, we should practice, and not only when we feel energetic or in the mood. This is practicing according to the Buddha's teaching. According to our own, we practice only when we're feeling good. How are we going to get anywhere like that? When are we going to cut the stream of defilements when we practice only according to our whims like that? Whatever we do, we should see ourselves. Reading books doesn't ever give rise to anything. The days pass by, but we don't see ourselves. Knowing about practice is practicing in order to know. Of course, there are dozens of meditation techniques, but it all comes down to this: just let it all be. Step over here where it is cool, out of the battle. Why not give it a try? Merely thinking about practice is like pouncing on the shadow and missing the substance. When I had been practicing for only a few years, I still could not trust myself. But after I had experienced much, I learned to trust my own heart. When you have this deep understanding, whatever happens, you can let it happen, and everything will just rise and pass away. You will reach a point where the heart tells itself what to do. In meditation practice, it is actually worse to be caught in calmness than to be stuck in agitation, because at least you will want to escape from agitation, whereas you are content to remain in calmness and not go any further. When blissful, clearer states arise from insight meditation practice, do not cling to them. Meditation is just about the mind and its feelings. It's not something you have to run after or struggle for. Breathing continues while working. Nature takes care of the natural processes. All we have to do is try to be aware, going inwards to see clearly. Meditation is like this. Not practicing rightly is being heedless. Being heedless is like being dead. Ask yourself, if you will have time to practice when you die, constantly ask yourself, when will I die? If we contemplate in this way, our mind will be alert every second. Heedfulness will always be present, and mindfulness will automatically follow. Wisdom will arise, seeing all things as they really are very clearly. Mindfulness guards the mind so that it knows when sensations arise at all times, day and night. To have mindfulness is to be composed. To be composed is to be heedful. If one is heedful, then one is practicing rightly. The basics in our practice should be first, to be honest and upright. Second, to be wary of wrongdoing. And third, to be humble within one's own heart. To be aloof and content with little. If we are content with little in regards to speech and in all other things, we will see ourselves, we won't be distracted. The mind will have a foundation of virtue, concentration, and wisdom. At first, You hurry to go forward, hurry to come back, and hurry to stop. You continue to practice like this until you reach a point where it seems that going forward is not it, coming back is not it, and stopping is not it either. It's finished. There's no stopping, no going forward, and no coming back. It is finished. Right there, you will find that there's really nothing at all. Remember, you don't meditate to get anything, but to get rid of things. We do it not with desire, but with letting go. If you want anything, you won't find it. The heart of the path is quite easy. There's no need to explain anything at length. Let go of love and hate and let things be. That's all that I do in my own practice. Asking the wrong questions shows that you are still caught in doubting. Talking about practice is alright if it helps contemplation, but it's up to you yourself to see the truth. We practice to learn letting go, not to increase our holding on. Enlightenment appears when you stop wanting anything. If you have time to be mindful, you have time to meditate. Someone recently asked me, as we meditate and various things arise in the mind, should we investigate them or just note them coming and going? If you see someone passing by whom you do not know, you may wonder, who is that? Where is he going? What is he up to? But if we know the person, it is enough just to notice him pass by. Desire in practice can be a friend or an enemy. As a friend, it makes us want to practice, to understand, to end suffering. But to be always desiring something that has not yet arisen, to want things to be other than they are, just causes more suffering, and this is when desire can be a foe. In the end, we must learn to let go of all our desires, even the desire for enlightenment. Only then can we be free. Someone asks Ajahn Chah about the way he taught meditation. Do you use the method of daily interviewing to examine the mind state of a person? Ajahn Chah responded by saying, "Here I teach disciples to examine their own mind states, to interview themselves. Maybe a monk is angry today, or maybe he has some desire in his mind. I don't know it, but he should. He doesn't have to come and ask me about it, does he?" Our life is an assembly of the elements. We use conventions to describe things, but we get attached to the conventions and think them to be something real. For example, people and things are given names. We could go back to the beginning before names were given and call men women and women man. What would be the difference? But now we cling to names and concepts. So we have the war of the sexes and other wars as well. Meditation is for seeing through all of this. We can then reach the unconditioned and be at peace, not at war. Some people enter the monkhood out of faith, but later trample on the teachings of the Buddha. They know better but refuse to practice rightly. Indeed, those who do not really practice are few these days. Theory and practice. The first knows the name of a medicinal plant, and the second goes out to find it and uses it. Noise. You like the sound of birds, but not that of cars. You're afraid of people and noises, and you like to live alone in the forest. Let go of the noise and take care of the baby. The baby is your practice. A newly ordained novice asked Ajahn Chah what his advice was for those new to meditation practice. The same as for those who have already been at it for a long time, he replied. And what was that? Just keep at it, he said. People say that the Buddha's teaching is right, but it is impossible to practice in society. They say things like, I'm young, so I don't have the opportunity to practice, but when I'm old, I'll practice. Would you say you're young, so you don't have time to eat, but when you get older, you'll eat? If I poked you with a stick that was on fire, would you say you're suffering? It's true, but since you live in this society, you can't get away from it.